Hey, 1973 podcast fans. This is Dan Lacouture. Just wanted to say hi. Wanted to say thank you to 1973 podcast for the great jersey they sent me and for having me on their show. You can find their show on YouTube, and they have a lot of great guests. Had a lot of fun doing the show with them. Great guys, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So thanks again for having me. Hope the fans enjoy their show, and best wishes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another very special episode of the 1973 podcast. We're joined this week by, could be, friend of the show, Chris Kelly, former equipment manager of the Manchester Monarchs of the AHL, and all around good guy, seems like. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk some hockey, hopefully trip with the fellas and tell some stories like we always do, and let's get going. So, Chris, local guy, Massachusetts guy, how did you get involved in hockey at a young age? That's how we always start.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, first of all. It's awesome. Definitely a fan of the show. I grew up in Weymouth, Mass. Uh, don't really know how I got involved in hockey, honestly. My father can't skate. He's a football guy. Played at BU. But then I think maybe just skating, some of my friends played it, and I got involved in youth, and then I went to Archbishop Williams, and then I went to Merrimack and kind of got involved in hockey that way with the equipment stuff, and that was kind of how I fell upon Manchester. I did it at Merrimack for a bit, and then I kind of it was kind of a joke that everyone was going to play in the East Coast League or the AHL at the season end, and I made it a joke. Yeah, I'm going to be in the AHL next year too, but as an equipment manager. So yeah.
So, getting to Merrimack, did you play at all, like youth hockey
No.
growing up, or at all, or just kind of fell into the Merrimack route?
Yeah, yeah, just a school I wanted to go to, and didn't I mean Division One I wasn't really gonna play there, so I uh I wanted to stay involved in hockey, and that's how I did it, and it was great. I still honestly I have friends to this day that from Merrimack, uh live with all the guys, and it was awesome. It was really fun.
How did that all come about? Like going the route of becoming everybody has these aspirations with sports, with you know
Sure.
playing actually, but how did the equipment manager's trainer role come about, like with getting involved that way for people that don't know? I mean,
I like how I knew I probably wouldn't play there, so like I said, I wanted to stay involved in the hockey, the game of hockey. I still love the game. I to this day still love it. Um, so I figured that could be my best way to do so, which it was great. I got paid, so I had some extracurricular money, we'll call it, I guess. And and I got to go everywhere, go on trips, get all the stuff, do all the things, and learn some great lessons.
was there anybody when you were at Merrimack that you remember actually being, a big man on campus, like chances to aspire to play at a higher level?
Um, we had a couple guys. We had Anthony Aquino, who was drafted by Dallas, who was not sure how much he really played after, but he played a little bit. Then Marco Rosa, who played, geez, he was my classmate actually. He played up until a couple of years ago. I think he was running something in Spain for hockey, and then like Spain or Italy, one of the two. He Now he's doing something on the side, like on it, with hockey. But those are probably the two biggest guys while I was there. Yeah.
Um, Favorite, like stories from Merrimack, like any good, like traveling stories or road stories with the fellas?
Traveling, so geez. Let's see. When we went up to Maine, we played in the playoffs. I remember that. Uh, played great games. We took one and they took one. That was the pivotal game three. We lost, but we ended up staying up in the hotel up there. We almost got asked to leave. We had quite a good time there. We had a good time, and it was fun. It was a good story. It was well, no harm. No harm, no foul. Just
No
kind of living it up at
statute
the
of
end of the year.
limitations still on that, Chris?
What's that?
Statute of limitations haven't passed yet on that.
Oh no, yeah, those are way gone. Those are far gone, far gone. Yeah, we're good. We're good there. We're good there.
Tom, you got a question for Chris?
Sure. Walk us through the day of what a job of an equipment manager. What does your day to day look like, or
Day to
what
day.
did it look like?
So I mean, practice and game would be different. I'll take you through a game day, I guess. If the game is at 7 o'clock that night, let's say, I'd probably get to the rink about 6:30, because depending, if the visiting team was already there, then I'd have to, flip their laundry, do their laundry and whatnot. Make sure our the home room was set up. Um, you go through that, any repairs, any sharpenings, things of that nature. Make sure coffee's going. You make sure that everything's ready for guys to start arriving. If practice is at 10 o'clock, or the morning skate would be at 10 o'clock, let's say, guys start showing up at about 8:30, get their treatment and whatnot. You got to set the benches up. Make sure all the line combinations right with the jerseys. Talk to the coaches. Make sure the coaches are set up. Um, Go through the practice. Do the laundry again. Start setting up for the game shirt, the game shirts, game socks, whatnot. Game things. Again, equipment repairs, sharpenings, and whatnot. XYZ. Um, then you may maybe get a quick break for lunch or something. Let's hope. Um, and you kind of get back. You maybe take a quick shower. Put on your stuff for the game, and you start getting ready for the guys to show up at the games at 7. There are guys that show up at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and to get their things done. And you kind of cater to their needs between when they get there and when the puck drops. And then when the puck drops, you've seen it on TV, sticks, skates, equipment, everything. And that's pretty much it. It's a long day. You don't usually get out of that rink. If you start at 6 in the morning, you probably, on a good day, maybe 11, 12 o'clock that night, and you might come back, especially in the AHL, 3-3, 3 games, 3 nights usually. So it can be draining.
So the transition from Merrimack to Manchester,
Yes.
what was the initial difference you saw right at first between going from the NCAA to the AHL?
Um, well, yeah, a lot more stuff, a lot more stuff to work with actually, which was nice. But also a lot more games in a lot less time. Whereas in college you have the 1 or 2 games a week, maybe 3 if you play on a Tuesday, but that's kind of a rarity now. And then to Manchester, where you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then sometimes you'd have a Tuesday game, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday again, 15-day road trips. Um, yeah, things that kind of wishing you had your own bed after a long road trip. Whereas at Merrimack, you'd have a 2-day road trip, or a night road trip.
The
So
thing I
but
always found odd about Manchester being the destination for the Kings is it was across the country. Couldn't get any further
right,
apart with it's like Boston and Providence. They're close for call-ups. The
yep.
call-ups over there with roster moves, you got to go all the way across the country. It just never seemed to make a lot of sense to me.
No, absolutely not. It didn't make it's because it doesn't make sense at all. It's if you look at it and think about it, it's like you said, how it's across the country. I remember. Well, first of all, if you think about it, you had Manchester was LA, and then you had Portland, who was Anaheim, which was the same thing, and
Yep.
Worcester, which was San Jose. So, I mean, it's it was kind of crazy, but I mean, none of them really. lasted that not long, but were very good ideas.
Right,
But
right.
I mean, in the long run. But I remember Brian Boyle got called up one time, and he was it was only from Manchester to I think the Kings were playing in New Jersey, so they they pulled him off. We pulled him off the bus, got all his stuff off, and we're like, well, how's he getting there? What's going on? How's he getting there? He got a car service, so they instead of flying him or anything, they thought a car service would be the best way to get there. Which I mean, he got there, but I think he got there with about 10 minutes before the game started. I don't
Oof.
even know if he got warm ups in, but he I mean that's just like a one little snippet of either travel or I mean why some travel doesn't make sense in hockey.
You would think with that car ride, you're trying to make an NHL debut and leave a an impression, and you're nauseous from the car ride. Not a really
Right.
good means to make your professional. Well, I don't know if it was his debut, but just to make an impression on a call up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was. I don't think it was his debut, but I know it was. He was. He was kind of going up and down at that point, and still, I mean, sitting in the car for 4.5, 5 hours, and then having to jump out, and having severe bus legs, I guess, or car legs, whatever you want to call them.
Right, right. So in Manchester, who were you know the players that people would know, fans would know?
Well, Alexander Daig played there for a bit. He was an interesting guy. He was not a bad guy, not a bad guy. Good guy. I'm trying to think. Jason LaBarbera, he was the goalie. He
Yeah.
played for the
Oh
Rangers
yeah.
for a
Yep.
while, the Wolfpack, the Kings. Played about awesome guy. One of the better ones. One of the better ones I've ever dealt with. Nice guy, treats everyone the same. Awesome. But who else? I'm trying to think. Jonathan Quick was there. John Quick was there for a bit. Awesome. Again, good guy. Patrick O'Sullivan
Yep.
was there for a little while. A couple of guys. Oleg Tverdovsky was there for a bit.
Oh, all right. Yep.
He's a name people will probably know.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean the local guys we had Jeff Giuliano who was a fan favorite. He was from New Hampshire, from Nashua, and he went to St. Paul's in BC and ended up in Manchester. And he got called up, played in the KHL for a while. Coaching at UNH now, was a great guy. And Dougie Nolan, who um, I'm still close friends with. I actually helped coach his Archbishop Williams girls team. Um, Awesome guy, local guy, tough nosed, AHL grinder. He did everything. I mean, he'd do everything. He'd fight. Played good D. He's a good teammate, good local guy. So people would probably know him.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a good group of guys. Brian Boyle, obviously, people know him. He's on the NHL Network now.
Yeah,
Doing
he's
his
still
thing, which
local
is
too.
great. What's that?
He's still local. He pops up every now and then at the
Yeah, yeah,
rink.
yeah. He's still living locally. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we had a good group of guys actually. Yeah,
The Alexander Dake stands out to me because of how highly touted he was when he got
sure.
drafted. He what an amazing story. They just came out with a documentary on him, and you kind of look at his career, and it was almost like it was a tough sell because he came in with such a high accolade, and it just seems like they could never, you know, reach that level of stardom that the NHL kind of pushed on him.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. He was, I mean, I know like you said, he struggled a bit, but he was, I mean, if you watch him in practice and some of the things he did in games, it was just like, holy Christ. It's like, you know, it was first overall, first round, first overall type stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny, like equipment wise though, he wore two different size gloves for all your gear geeks out there. Your people that want like that stuff. I still follow that kind of stuff. Like little like I like to look at that Gear Geek website that they have, and it shows a lot of different things. It's kind of cool. But yeah, he wore one CCM low cut glove and one high, so when he took a face off, he got slashed. He had the high cut one on. So
Did
which
not
was
know that. Did
yeah,
not
I
know
mean
that.
little nuances.
Love that.
Yeah, little things like that.
Tom, question for Chris.
Yeah, how much of the game did you actually get to watch, or were you just so busy you really didn't get a chance to see too much action?
No, I mean, most of the time it depends. So most of the time, you'd get to watch the bulk of the game. I mean, if you're on the road and like in the AHL and the conference we were in, we traveled pretty locally. Like, it was like I want to say 2.5 hours, and it was the furthest bus trip in our conference. We had Hartford, Lowell, at one point, Worcester, like things that those teams. You'd have to like pull the bags in the third period. So when the guys came in, all the bags ready and start packing stuff up. But I mean, that was halfway through the third period, so you'd see a good chunk of the game. You'd also, I mean, obviously, it'd be interrupted at certain points with repairs and whatnot, but it you'd see a good amount of the game.
Now,
Yeah.
Chris, did they ever ask you to travel to do anything with the Kings at all, or was it strictly just Manchester?
Yeah, so we every year we went out at the end of August. We'd go out to LA for a month until I'd come back in like the beginning of October. So we went out for the rookie camp out there in LA. We went out to for the training camp. And then we'd stay out for some, like, I want to say two of the preseason games, two or three. And then they'd start whittling down the roster. So guys would start coming to Manchester. And then we'd fly home and we'd have maybe that night and we'd be right back at it that day in Manchester, starting up the AHL training camp. So yeah, we did go out to LA. And I know the guys after me when they made the cup run there, they were out there for the whole thing. They were out there for the cup. They got to hoist the cup and everything. So it was pretty cool for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Missed it by that much.
Just a little bit. Yeah. I'm still happy for them still because I knew some of the guys that were on the team that were in Manchester when I was there and also some of the staff, a lot of the staff, whether it be the trainers and or the upper management or things like that. They all it was well deserved. Then I was happy for them though.
The the difference for people that don't know between the AHL and the NHL, there's that fine line where there's so many guys that could probably play, but they just
Yeah,
don't get that right break.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you you look at the Boston Bruins right now. It's kind of it's. I'm gonna go with Fabian Lassell. It might be the key person there. He looks great. I was at a game the other day and he looked awesome. Scored a hat trick. Almost had 4 goals, but he gets up to the NHL and he can't make that transition. He can't do it. It's frustrating watching it because he's so good at the AHL level. You want him to be that good at the NHL level, but it's not transitioning. And he's still young. Don't get me wrong, but it's the time's ticking, I guess. There are a couple of guys that the Bruins have like that, and like you said though, you did see a lot of them. There are a ton of them that are on the cusp, or you know, if they did one or two more things, they would have made it. Yeah,
The thing that I've always had a problem with the AHL with is the television, how they're never on TV. And I think that
yes,
all those games should be televised for the hockey geeks. Put them on
absolutely.
some kind of, now that ESPN has all those streams that they can, I wish they would have even the East Coast on there just for the people locally to have hockey on TV when they want to watch it, or just something to, if you're an Uber geek, you can follow your AHL farm system, or even your East Coast farm system, and kind of, kind of, if you're that into it, there should be some platform to watch the AHL, and to this day, I don't know a way to do it.
I couldn't agree more with you. I mean, because I'm that geek that wants to watch hockey all the time, and whatever it is, what it is.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. Um, but yeah, you're right. It's frustrating. You can't, you have, I mean, I can watch cornhole on ESPN, guys, but I can't watch an AHL hockey game, or I have to watch it repeated, or I can't watch some sort of hockey on a different channel. But yeah, I agree with you. I would love to watch those games.
And there must be some kind of feed that is not broadcast, because when you watch it on the jumbotron, it's all recorded.
Yeah.
So there should be some kind of, you know feed to AHL.com,
I
or
know they have like the what is it called, like flow hockey or whatever they go through and those things that you can watch on the computer and this and that. But I mean, I'd like to just put my television on and maybe be able to, just hey, hit the guide
Yes.
and say, for the exorbitant amount of cable that I pay, maybe I can get an AHL game.
Right, right.
Maybe I can
Especially
watch
like
the
it,
Worcester Railers,
yeah,
the East Coast,
anything.
anything,
Or
right?
a team that you've never seen before, like I know that the Coyotes had one that was what is it? It's going to slip me because we're recording, but
No,
you
it's all
know,
right.
Henderson Silver Kings is the Vegas one. Just eclectic stuff, so you can see different things. If you're a hockey nerd, they kind of leave you hanging a little bit with
You
that
think of
stuff.
the Tucson Roadrunners? Is that what you're
That's
thinking
it.
of?
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're still out there, I guess. So
great
it's
great jerseys. I love
great
those
jerseys,
jerseys.
great jerseys. Yeah, I mean that's another thing. You see some great jerseys in minor league hockey too. It's with some of the novelty stuff they do.
Yeah. Tom, question for Chris.
Yeah. You went from Merrimack to Manchester. How'd you get the Manchester job?
Like I said, I kind of was making a joke with my buddies. I'm gonna go to the AHL next year. I drew up an email, sent it to Mike Holden, who was the head guy, and he hired me, and it was me and him there, and we had a good run for the time I was there. Yeah, taught me a
Nice.
lot. He taught me a lot. Kept me in check as a youngster. I didn't see it that way, but him, Jeff Giuliano and Doug Nolan kept me in check while while I was there because I thought I was living the life a little bit, I guess. But it was fun.
It sounds like it. I mean, if you're a uber hockey nerd, that's like a great spot to land in something like that.
Yeah, it was fun. It was awesome. I yeah,
So,
I
Chris,
wouldn't change it.
uh, you gotta tell us who was a pain in the ass to deal with.
Um, honestly, there weren't that many guys that were that much of a pain. I'm trying to think. Um, Dougie would always want sticks at the end of the year, extra sticks. He was always that he'd be like, "Come on," he'd ask for extra sticks because he ran his hockey tournaments and this and that, and he'd he'd want to clean up with his free gear. That wasn't a pain though. It was just he just wanted his stuff. Laurie Tukinen was awesome, a Finnish kid. He was another one that went with the Kings. He was a first rounder, top 10, I want to say. He never really transitioned, but he was a great guy too. I remember he went to World Juniors, brought me back a T-shirt from Finland. He used to say, Kev, when you're ready, can I get a stick? No hurries, no worries, no hurries, no worries. You're like, all right, Tukes, let's go, come on. And he had a banana hook, like the Team
Yeah, yeah.
Mussolini type banana hook, pizza shovel boomerang. And he'd stare at them for hours. He wasn't a pain though. Then again, another one, Brian Boyle went through probably 10 pairs of skates a year. I feel like it was because, he's a big guy with those composite skates. They just break down. He wasn't a pain. And LeBarber, again, like he was a bigger dude. He was a bigger guy and he sweat a ton. I mean, it was just like, it was, yeah, just a lot. And so, we'd have to throw his chest protector in the dryer some in between some periods. He had his own hair dryers for his gloves because they got so wet. But yeah, just those are the type things. I mean, no one was really a pain because I mean, I just love what I did. It was awesome. It was, it's a dream come true that I got to do this in professional hockey. So, I mean, you had guys that, thought thought they were better than they were, but um it was it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all.
So John Quick, definitely a great story with him coming up through the ranks and then going and getting those Stanley Cup runs.
So,
Fantastic story. Memories of John Quick.
John Quick, let's see. My first memory of John Quick was his ankle was hurt. He was like, "Oh yeah, I messed up in the game. I messed up my, in what's it called? The final four, not Frozen Four, Elite Eight game." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And I was like, "Okay." And then like we got to talk, and he got to know me, he trusted me. He said, "Hey, that wasn't, the game. It was I think he heard a partying after he jumped off like a stair or something like that and twisted it. But I mean, his secret was safe with me till, 20 something years after, which I don't think it's gonna be a problem now. But yeah, he was awesome. Good guy. He like just like, you see all these goalies, doing crazy stretches, this, that. He was like a regular like player type. Like, it was just kind of it wasn't, how the goalies can be weird, how goalies are
Yeah,
weird
yeah,
because they kind of are, but he wasn't. He was just kind of normal and just kind of went with the flow, which I think is what made him so good. And I mean, he's still going.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, good
Tom,
dude.
question for Chris.
Yeah. What's the weirdest repair or last minute fix that you had to deal with during your time?
Weirdest repair. Last minute fix. It's a good one. I don't know if it's a last minute fix or repair, but we um Teddy Purcell got called up. It wasn't, I don't think it was his debut again either, but he had false teeth, like a flapper there, two flapper, two, and we had to, a lot of times I'd take the guys, I'd drive them to the airport with their car, and then we'd take their car and we'd either park it at the rink or where they lived, because I lived in the same place, a lot of them. So uh we were driving Teddy. um we stopped, we got something to eat, which is another funny thing. But he got on his plane. He got to there, and I was driving back and realized he left his teeth in the cup holder. So they had to send him out to L.A. Um, they had to send his teeth out there, which is not really a repair, but kind of a funny thing. Yeah. So he actually ended up scoring that night when I dropped him off. And he said, I had a nice meal, a nutritious meal, and a nice meal. Then I got on the plane and came out here and played. It must have something to do with that. We had McDonald's before I dropped him off, so that was his nutritious meal. So just saying.
And it was off the value menu.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think he paid for it. I think he got me. Good guy. I think he got me. Yeah. So
So
yeah, that was good.
the transition at the end, how did that all come about where it was finally done?
Um, it's a good question. I don't know. I kind of was like, okay, do I want to ride around on a bus for another couple of years? I thought I might have a chance to go to LA. Um, but then other things happen and they went another way. I Again, like I said, I kind of was just went back and forth. I was going to come back for one more year and see what would happen, or if I could hook on with another team. But I ultimately just kind of went into the arena not knowing if I was going to spend another year or not. And I talked to Hubie McDonough, who was the director of hockey operations. I mean, he was basically the GM of the Monarchs for all intents and purposes. Like, he ran the day-to-day stuff there. You know, he that's not his title, but that's basically what he was. Great, great guy, one of the best guys I've ever dealt with in hockey. Him and Jimmy Hughes was another one. But um, I said to Hubie, I said, I don't know what I want to do. I said, I like what I'm doing. He said, is this what you want to do forever? And we kind of had a talk, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna go explore the real world, I guess, because the dream is coming to an end. Whether it be, playing or doing what I did, it came to an end, and I still miss it to this day. I mean, that's why I love helping out and love coaching and helping out with equipment stuff, and still,
So the Doug Nolan connection,
yeah.
how did that come full circle where you connected with coaching now?
Well, so like I said, I didn't know Dougie before I got to Manchester, and I mean, the long and short is when I was there, he knew I was from Weymouth. I knew he was from Quincy. Then, like I said, he was almost like a bigger brother to me. Him and Jules took me under their wing basically and kind of, helped me basically, I mean, live the professional type life that they lived up there, and I wasn't never left out of anything. Always included in things. And I mean, we remained friends even after I got out of hockey. He stayed in it for. I mean, he went to the KHL. Played in Austria for a while, played in a few different places, and we always remained friends. And he brought it up to me that the high school that he was putting his application into to coach was my old high school. So he was asking if I, want to help out, coaching, maybe doing some equipment stuff if we needed it done. I was like, yeah. And from there we went, and it's been great. It's been great. We've had some fun.
Tom, before we start talking, Coach, do you have a question for Chris?
Yeah. How have you seen, what's your vantage point of how hockey equipment has changed during when you first started to even right up to now?
A lot, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you go from wooden sticks. I went to Pure Hockey today. They had some Sherwood PP 77s, the Ray Borks. Um, Jesus, they were friggin' pieces. It feels like I'm holding a two by four compared to, I mean, you go to something, you feel like it's light as a feather. I mean, but you're paying $400 for it as opposed to 44. Um, Skate wise, I get it. It's they're lighter. They're you know better. I guess they're lighter, so people think they're better. But I feel like the skates break down quicker now. Honestly, just like a lot of things, like your phones and whatnot. Everything breaks down a little quicker. It's made out of chintzier stuff, I guess. But I mean, if you're playing in the NHL or the AHL or even the coast, you have you can get six, seven, eight, nine, 10 pairs of skates a year if you need to, if your organization allows that. But that, I mean, it's come a long way. It's come a long way. I mean, and I don't think it's done, but I'm waiting for, I know the goalie skates already come out with the twist things on the, instead of tying them. I'm waiting for the regular skates to come out like that, and I'll be all in on those.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't gone more of that rollerblade type setup like that.
Yeah,
But
me
maybe
too.
maybe they have R&D style. It just hasn't kind of, you know, they try to put the holes in the blade of the hockey stick almost like the old Milik flow
Yeah,
blades, and that didn't work too well
just
either. It
just
was
terrible. Yeah, just I mean, some things are yeah, right for the scrap metal yard at the start, but some of the stuff was good. But I mean, the graph skates, people love the graph skates, but they were like, it's like a leather bound book on your foot,
yeah.
but people love them.
So the comparison now with working with Doug as opposed to kind of your connection when he was a player. How is that different? With just being, I don't want to say an equal now compared to then, but how is it now compared to then?
It's great. I mean, it's a little different. I mean, but it's awesome to watch him, you know, do something he loves, um, and teach these kids, um, you know, great things from, a pro's perspective, from someone who's played the game, someone who knows the game. And I mean, I think people trust him with, their kids just in general to, like, teach them the game of hockey. And it's not just hockey. I mean, it's like lessons, so we try to teach them hockey as well as, life lessons. But it's
Uh, oh,
it's
go
it,
ahead,
it
Chris.
it's good. It's fun. It's fun.
Tom, question for Chris.
Yeah. How my wife wanted me to ask you this question. She heard in the background, she knows you're from Weymouth. My wife's from Weymouth. She wants to
Okay.
know what your opinion of MDC rink is.
The Connell rink and the MDC rink.
Yep.
Um, I think it's got a lot better than it was. It's got a lot better actually. Um,
She she's had a lot of horror stories when her brother played there, and she said she had stuck going to the games, and she said she ended up usually running the scoreboard, and she hated the rink.
Yeah, so let me see my memories from it. When I played, there weren't locker rooms there, so you get dressed, on the benches. There were like the bubbles on the ice from the ceiling leaking. You'd trip over those, or impale yourself with your stick. Um, it was interesting, but they put a lot of work and a lot of money into it. I think we played Weymouth a couple of years ago there, and it was good. We had nice locker rooms. We had two nice locker rooms, and yeah, they put some work into it for sure.
So here's where we're gonna get kind of connected, even though that we talked off air. I
Sure.
have coached girls hockey.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all know that there's a difference between coaching girls hockey and coaching boys hockey.
For sure.
Could you explain, Chris, for the people that don't know what the difference is?
I mean, I feel like girls, when you explain to them something, they're very much more attentive than boys are, and they're not afraid to ask you a question as opposed to not and feeling like they're gonna fail if they ask a question. But I feel like girls they'll say, hey, what's going on here? Um, I think that's the main aspect. I mean, that's a little different. I mean, in my opinion, that's a big one. That's my biggest one. That they'll ask if they have a question, as opposed to boys where they kind of like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to watch this guy and see what he's doing. But I like that. That's what I got out of it.
I think that one of the biggest things too is the boys are always looking for the highlight reel. The girls
Right.
play actual hockey. They're not worried
Team
about the
team
big
hockey.
hit. They're fundamentally sound. They are more attentive, like you said, when you're trying to explain the game. It's
Right.
not all about going end to end with the puck. You have four other players that you can use,
Right.
and they move the puck well. They they're not as aggressive, but it's to a certain extent where
Yeah.
they develop and learn the game more than the boys do.
And I feel like you've even seen a little bit more physicality in girls hockey, and almost let it kind of be, which is great. I mean, you don't want someone to get trucked, but if they bump into each other, you bump into people. I mean, that's good. That's part of the game. It's the game they play, the game they grew up playing. So it's I don't I like to see that too, as opposed to see the zebra's arm go up when two people bump into each other, which is always a pleasure.
We'll see if I can make Tom laugh on this one. So what you're saying, Chris, is as a coach, if you have a
Yes.
girl that's got a lot of sandpaper, that's a
Oh
good
yeah.
thing.
Oh, we've had a couple that have some sandpaper, and it's nice to see sometimes. It's nice to see some grit to the game. It changes it up a little bit. It's not just dipsy do, or just straight east to west hockey. You like not keep your head up really, but keep your head on a swivel. It's nice.
Yeah, there's a girl that's gonna play for you pretty soon that she's got a lot of sandpaper and decent sized kid. So
Nice.
that's what you got to look forward to.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
that's that's great. You look forward to things like that, and players like that, and at least I do. I think it's good. It's a good part of the game. It's good change.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, question for Chris.
Yeah, who's harder to deal with, uh, the players' parents as a coach, or the players when you're the equipment manager?
Well, I mean, our parents have been good. Our parents have honestly been good. They kind of know that the girls are young adults. If they have a question or an issue, just come to us and ask us. That's what we want you to do. We want you to learn and do the right thing. Um, so I mean, it's pretty equal. Like I said, I didn't have many pains in the asses on the equipment side either. It's like I said, I love doing it, so maybe that was part of it. But you know, we I was pretty lucky in that sense, and I'm also pretty lucky in the sense that like the players' parents, like we said, they're good. They're good.
So, what's the team culture at Archbishop Williams that you and Doug have kind of created since he's come aboard with that program? We were talking, back and forth texting, and you had mentioned the difference in the program when he took it over. What?
Yeah, it's just a honestly like a family vibe. Like I know he says to all the girls that it's whether you play JV um, or varsity, it's you're we're all part of the same team. You're all part of everyone gets certain things. You're all part of the same team. A family culture that we want the girls from the varsity team to go to the JV games, go to the other games, go to other sports, be a good leader, be a good, you know, student athlete first, be a great leader in school, lead by example, and take care of the people, your family, like which is our team, and we you know, kind of live by that type of thing. If that's about it.
Now, do you see that you'll stay coaching for a long time, or do you see that the coaching could open up a different career path for you eventually? Or
I honestly I don't know. It's I work for the sheriff's department full time, and I coach. But I right now coaching's it's fun for me and it's good, and I'm gonna keep on doing it until they tell me I can't. So that's where I'm gonna go with it.
Tom, question for Chris.
Yeah, I think you already answered this, but do you ever miss the chaos of game nights?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely do. I miss it all the time. There are times I sit and wonder, what if I stayed? What if I wrote it out? And there are times that are like, you know what, there are some great memories, great stories, and a lot of people can't say that they did that. So yeah.
So, kind of like looking at everything from like a fisheye lens, if you could, you know, go back and say, what's one big lesson you've learned about this journey so far, Chris?
Um, I mean, I've learned a lot within the game of hockey. I've met a ton of great people. Um, it's more than a sport. It's kind of like a lifestyle for a lot of people, and I've met a lot of great people that have been on this journey. So that's kind of what I took out of it. It's a lot of awesome people, a lot of awesome memories, awesome connections I've made.
Tom, question for Chris.
Yeah. What is on the road with Manchester? What do you think? What was the nicest drink you played at?
Nicest rink. Ooh, that's a good one. There's one in Iowa that was really nice. The one in Toronto's cool. It's the Rico Col. I don't. It's probably not the Rico Coliseum anymore. I think it's like the Pepsi Coliseum or something. But it was older, but it was cool. Had some mystique to it. That was a nice one. Um, yeah, I mean, it's always cool to go to Hartford where the Whalers used to play. The huge place. They just black out the upper bowl there with some curtains. But a lot of cool places. Yeah. Like Rockford, Illinois, you feel like you're in Pleasantville from 19, feel like you're in 1960,
Yeah.
like everything looks like that, the arena's the same. It's just interesting. Find a lot of interesting spots.
So I got a good one for you. So you have a senior that's
Hmm.
might possibly be playing in their last game ever of hockey.
Hmm.
Sure, it happens every year, and you have
Yeah.
to have that come to Jesus moment with them that it's all done. What? How do you come across with that?
I mean, I'm not the guy to do that really. I'll leave that to Doug. But no, I think they like. at the end of the year, he has, meetings with everyone, and it's good. They just, kind of almost just like an exit, and we're never never say. I honestly don't think we would have it with them. It's maybe they go try and play club hockey. Maybe they go play, or try out for the team, or they can walk on, or they could do something. So it's kind of an open door, I guess.
I don't know if you agree, but the avenue for a girl to play college hockey is probably better than a boy to play college hockey.
Yeah, I mean, could be, yeah, for sure, for sure.
I I have this conversations with a lot of people that have a girl that plays, and I always try to say that these male chauvinistic organizations that push the girls' programs aside and
Right,
they foo-foo it. They don't understand that the chance of that girl that you're pushing aside is greater in that organization than any of the boys that are there that are good. So
right,
this girl that you're pushing aside could end up playing even at a D3 school, and you could say that that girl played in this rink rather than any other boy that you've had come through the organization. I still can't understand, as a father of a girl that plays hockey,
sure,
why you would push that aside as an organization due to male chauvinism.
right. No, no, you're right. It's definitely a problem that, like you said, it's that there are girls that are going to be far more successful than 95% of the boys that are, like you said, in that program. And like you said, if they kind of get swept away, I mean, I feel like almost now it's we might be getting a little better with it. I'm hoping, but we'll see in the next few years. I feel like the women's hockey is getting better.
Agree, totally agree. So we'll start winding down with I'll have Tom ask a final question, and we'll
Sure.
kind of bring the career to a full circle.
Absolutely.
Thomas, one last question for Chris.
Sure. As an equipment manager, what do you think the one piece of equipment that fans underestimate in terms of importance?
I'm guessing in terms of importance. Um, I'd say it's the skates. Just based because there's so many different variations and so many different, whether it be skates or like the blades, the rocker, your what hollow you get shopping at, 5/8, 3/8, half inch, your standard half inch, or I feel like that people don't really think about it. They just think, oh, skates. The guy, he goes like this, and he goes like this, and shop is a skate, which you don't want to do that because it's bad. You go one way, but um, I feel like skates are. I feel like skates are an underestimated part of the people. You're a fan that's not a gear geek, like we said, or a hockey nerd, like I guess all of us, right? Wouldn't they wouldn't they wouldn't put much thought about skates, which
Yep.
So, Chris, I'm going to ask you about out of your whole hockey journey up until this
yes,
moment, favorite moment.
my favorite moment. Hmm. I'd say probably the first game working in the AHL was my favorite moment, or being on the bench at a preseason game in Los Angeles for an NHL preseason game was probably my favorite moment. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's what
So,
I'd say.
as we wrap up the show, I
Yeah,
always ask this question. I've asked it to everybody that we've had on. If you had to describe your whole hockey journey in one word, what would it be?
interesting, interesting.
Very cool.
Yeah,
So
it was.
I just want to tell you as we wind down and wrap it up for this week. It's awesome having you on. Took a couple of weeks, so we finagled a couple of things, and
Yeah,
glad to have you on. Talk about podcasting, talk about the journey, talk about all things hockey, talk about girls hockey, which
for sure.
I have a vested interest in, and
Absolutely.
just officially now, I always say it at the end, friend of the show, Chris Kelly.
Love it. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. I mean, like I said, I've been wanting to do something like this for forever, and you guys are my avenue, and I
Yeah,
thank you for it.
no, we'll talk. I keep in touch with everybody we've had on regularly. No, it's not just a ghost thing. After we
Absolutely.
stay in contact, friend of the show, like I said.
Yeah.
We'll try to get Doug on maybe eventually, and we'll chirp with the boys and talk more girls hockey and life and times on the road and everything. So
Perfect. Sounds like a plan, guys.
I appreciate it, Chris.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Chris.
much.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Chris.
All right.